Hi, Mom! It's the mamas! You're here! Welcome! You made it? You did it? Listen, we're going to give you big props tonight for many different things. Number one, you're here. You made it. Maybe the kids are in bed. Maybe they're not. You just shut that door. Just ignore them. This is our time. Right, Ab? This is our
Right.
time. You guys, you did it. Way to go. I hope you have a nice beverage. There's vodka in this. I'm just kidding. There's not. We're church ladies. I'm just joking. It's just water. I have a nice mug. I feel like the ladies on a talk show, they always have those nice mugs with water.
Yeah. Mine's just water too.
Yours just water. Okay. Anyways, who's this crazy lady? My name is Kate Jackson, and I'm so happy to be with you. I work at Flood. I'm on staff at Flood. I've been there almost 10 years on staff, which is nuts. I have 3 kids. I have my son Elliot, who's 8, my daughter Tessa, who's 5, and then I have Camille or Millie, and she is 8 months, which is wild. Mm-hmm. So that is me. That's what I do. Just keeping things real, because that's what Abby and I plan to do around here, is to keep things real. I just need to tell you 3 other things about myself right now. Number 1, I am wearing pajama bottoms. Yes, I am, and my hope is that you are too. If you're not, you can pause the video and go get them on now. You're welcome. Permission. We need to give you a lot of permission. I feel like I need permission, so I'm going to be giving you permission to do things. So go get those PJ pants on. Okay, number 2. This looks like a really nice scene, doesn't it? Don't worry. I have laundry. Clean and dirty everywhere. It's fine. Just don't worry about that. Just don't look over there. But I'm just keeping it real. Clean and dirty laundry. Same area. It's fine. And this is my fancy sweatshirt. This is a sweatshirt. I put it on the other day, and my son said, "Wow, Mom, ooh, where are you going?" Fine. It's a sweatshirt. This is what we're in, people. What? Yes, this is what we're in. But so that is me. Abby?
You look amazing, Kate. Hi, I'm Abby. I used to be on staff at Flood for also a very long time, over 10 years myself. And I served as the children's pastor for quite some time. And then I served as the community engagement pastor. And now I'm a full-time stay-at-home mom, which is a whole nother thing. I thought full-time ministry was hard. Full-time momming, that's a whole nother thing. So I have a 4-year-old named Cora, and then a little boy named Kobe that is 9 months old. And it's really a joy and honor for me to be here with you tonight, Kate, and with all of you other mamas out there. And I'm going to join you in that pile of laundry. This was my only clean t-shirt that didn't have spit up on it. And so grabbed that. I also have pajama pants on, and I haven't done the dishes. I haven't folded the laundry. I haven't picked up the toys. And, that's just where we are. And it's going to be okay. I have rising anxiety, but it's okay. It's okay.
It also means that you were putting important things first, right? Because you're here and we're letting those things go.
Yep.
We're trying to be honest. We're trying to be real here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because why are we even doing this? Why are we doing this here tonight? Where did this even come from? We had the realization in talking, Abby and I are good friends, and we were talking, and we're talking about how at times we feel like we are drowning, especially during this pandemic. And I started seeing news articles popping up saying moms are drowning, and it's like, oh, okay, we're not alone here. And we just thought, we should probably do something and talk to the moms at Flood and see how everyone's doing, and just have a discussion kind of about how can we be there for one another. It's we are not pros in this. We are not the professionals. Please know that we do not have all the answers and solutions. We just wanted to take some time to do this, and maybe hoping that this could be a life raft to you, because it has been such a hard and long year. Just wanting you to know that you're not alone, that we can do this together. And there's just an incredible community of moms here at Flood. So just want you to know that. I think just more than anything that we are all here together in this, with our dirty laundry, with our dirty dishes, sweatpants, pajama pants, sweatshirts, trying to look nice. It's just like we have to stick together, because if we don't stick together, we are not going to make it. And we just want to show, we just want to be together. Yeah. In doing this. So.
Yeah. Yeah, that is definitely our desire. As Kate mentioned, we are just speaking from our personal experience as mamas who had babies during the pandemic. We have children during the pandemic. We're trying to figure out work from home life and managing all the things during a pandemic. And the title of our workshop, if you want to even call it our workshop, our podcast, I don't know, our chat tonight is Tired as a Mother. Because aren't we all so tired? Aren't we all so tired? So we are just two moms humbly trying to learn from our mistakes, not our successes. And we just want to have a conversation with you about the challenges of this insanely wild time known as COVID season
Yeah.
that
What
seems to
even is
never
this?
be ending. We don't know.
What even is this?
What
Yeah.
even is this? I don't know.
What even is this? Yeah, in this year that has been so difficult. We just wanted a space to come together and say that we see you. I see you. Hold your. That's my little sign that I hold your face. You can put your face right there. I'm holding your face. I see you, and you're not alone. You're not crazy. I just want you to know you're not crazy. I feel like I've had people tell me like you're not crazy. Like this has been one hell of a year. I mean, do you ever find yourself just wondering, like, what are we even doing? What is going to happen next? What even is this life? If you ever found yourself saying those things, I keep joking, like, I'll say, we're going to make it. And then sometimes I'm like, are we? Are we going to make it? Are we really going to make it? So if you've ever felt any of those things, this is for you. You are not alone. And we are just excited that we're here together. Just to see each other and to chat. Maybe, hopefully, there will be some helpful things that Abby and I can offer through our learning. But overall, we just want you to be able to sit and relax. Hopefully, you guys are joining us live on the evening time when we're doing this thing. But also, I know as a mom, maybe you are listening to this while you're doing the dishes. Maybe you are listening to this while you're on a walk, or maybe you are listening to this while you're driving in your car and you put your headphones on so you don't have to hear your children in the back. I don't know. Maybe. No judgment. So, but we're just glad that you are here. And we just want you to know this format is going to be a little bit different, a little bit more relaxed than maybe other women's events or things like that that you have watched, because we do just want to be real. We want to be real with you, that you're kind of like watching a live podcast or two friends just trying to have a chat, an evening chat. Because when else do you have time to talk? And you have to close your bedroom door so your kids don't come in, lock that door, fine. But we're just hoping that you too can feel relaxed. Bring your mug of water or vodka, no judgment, whatever you need to make it through this evening, to feel seen. And also just, we want to have a little bit of levity. We are all carrying so much. And so just want to have maybe some fun together too, to laugh together, maybe cry. I don't know. Who knows what the night will hold.
If there's vodka in that cup, there may be
No,
tears
there's
later.
not. There's not. I know. I need to stop making that joke because people are going to be like, we have concerns about Kate working at Flood. No, there's not. I just need to be clear. It's water.
It's water. Yes. So our desire for tonight, as Kate mentioned, is just meant to be very conversational. It's like Kate and I are just having a FaceTime. And you happen to be popping in because this is really how we are just chatting with each other most of the time. But we're going to chat through 3 key themes that we as moms have personally felt like we needed in this season. And we hope that it resonates with you. And we do want to name that Kate and I have younger children, but whether you have older children or small children, or you're pregnant or you're an empty nester, we just hope that you feel seen and known and loved in this space, regardless of the season of motherhood that you're in. And so those 3 themes that we want to talk about are freedom, support, and encouragement. Sound good? We need all those things,
We do.
right?
Yes, we do.
Okay, so to kick off our time together, Kate and I wanted to share a piece of scripture that is just one of our favorites, and it really kind of shapes how we're going to just chat through tonight. As our dear friend Lindsay Wildy might say, it serves as our roadmap, right, Lindsay?
She would say
watching our roadmap.
She's watching. She would say it, and she did say it.
So one of our favorite stories in scripture can be found in Mark chapter 5. I don't know if you want to pull out your Bible or go on Bible Gateway, pull up the verses 25 to 34. So I'll just read that for us. Okay, Mark chapter 5, verse 25. And a woman was there who had been subject to bleeding for 12 years. She had suffered a great deal under the care of many doctors and had spent all she had. Yet instead of getting better, she grew worse. When she heard about Jesus, she came up behind him in the crowd and touched his cloak, because she thought, if I just touch his clothes, I will be healed. Immediately, her bleeding stopped, and she felt in her body that she was freed from her suffering. At once, Jesus realized that power had gone out from him. He turned around in the crowd and asked, "Who touched my clothes?" "You see the people crowding against you," his disciples answered, "and yet you can ask, 'Who touched me?'" But Jesus kept looking around to see who had done it. Then the woman, knowing what had happened to her, came and fell at his feet, and trembling with fear, told him the whole truth. He said to her, "Daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering." Oof. I just love this story for so many reasons.
So good.
It's so good. It's not good because of this poor woman who's been suffering for so long, but just so good, this interaction that we see between this woman and Jesus. And it's such a great example of how when we are in our most desperate of times, I mean, she was bleeding for 12 years. Can we just let's not skip over that very important
No. Oh my gosh.
this poor woman. And so she's at the end of her rope, and she turns to Jesus, and he turns to her, and he gives her freedom. He's willing, he's ready, he wants to heal, he wants to bring comfort. And one of the little pieces of that story that always stands out to me is that he's in this huge crowd, and yet he feels her touch his cloak, and he says that he feels the power leave him. And I just think that that is such an incredible, just an incredible moment that I don't want any of us to skip over, right? It's like he's in this huge crowd, and yet he feels her, this woman who's been suffering for over a decade, reach out and touch him. And that, my friends, is God's posture towards us. He turns towards us, he sees us, he knows exactly what we need. In another account in Luke, chapter 8, verse 47, Jesus says to her, "Go in peace." And I feel like that is what God's been saying to me as a mom, and to Kate, this idea that this everything we've been holding, this suffering, this, while it may not be as intense as a woman bleeding for 12 years, or maybe that, yeah, but maybe that
but
is
maybe
that is how it
have we been
feels.
suffering for 12 years? Maybe.
Right?
Yours felt like it.
Yeah, it can feel like that God's posture is to turn toward us, to bring us freedom and healing and peace. So what have you been holding this past year that may feel like you've been bleeding for 12 years, like this poor woman? Can you relate to her exhaustion? Can you relate to her feelings of discouragement and defeat and helplessness and hopelessness, this desperation for something to change? I mean, 12 years, right? That's a long time of suffering. And I know that I have, and I know that Kate can relate to this as well, that as moms, we've all been holding so much. That's an understatement, holding so much during this pandemic. We're navigating working from home, homeschooling, boundaries with friends and families, trying to keep you and your family healthy and safe and COVID free. And that's just stuff related to COVID, right? That's on top of the million other things that we hold as moms, also known as the invisible labor, that we do to keep our families and our houses and our homes running. And so that's just a lot. And then on top of that, there's everything going on in our world and politics and race and inequity and hate against Asian people and Black Lives Matter movement. There's all of this other huge movements that are happening in our world, and it's just a lot. It's a lot to process as individuals, and then how do we raise our children to be aware of what's happening in the world? And it's just a lot, right? So then there's the cooking and the cleaning, which Kate and I have already given you a little glimpse into our lives of
how we're doing on that.
Right? How we're doing on that.
Fine, everything's
The
fine.
endless laundry, the endless cleaning. Why is there always so much cleaning to do? So needless to say, there's a lot going around us. There's a lot going on. And it is exhausting. It's exhausting. So this woman that we read about in this account, she does whatever she can to touch Jesus' cloak because she wants to be freed from that suffering. And she's set free. Jesus says to her, daughter, your faith has healed you. Go in peace and be freed from your suffering. He affirms her identity. He turns towards her. And even in the midst of this large crowd, he shows her that he sees her, an individual in this large crowd, that he knows her, that he cares about her, that he knows exactly what she needs, and he wants to give her that. And that is how God's posture is toward us, even if we may not feel it in that moment. That is how he is with us. And that's something that I feel like I know in my head, but in those moments when things are really hard, it's hard to remember and hard to really sink into that truth. So it's a little bit easier, right, to kind of hold the reality and to name our capacity when we can sit with that truth, when we can sit with the truth that God actually does see us, that he cares about us, that the little things we're holding, the big things that we're holding, he sees all of it and he cares about all of it. And I don't know about you, but that helps me breathe just a little bit, it helps me just to take a breath. So all that to say, we just want to remind you, grace upon grace upon grace. One of my really good friends says that, to give yourself grace upon grace upon grace. It's okay that we are a mess. It's okay that we don't have it all figured out. It's okay to kind of feel like we're underwater. And another one of my favorite sayings is, don't should on yourself, which is the fun play on words. Don't should on yourself. Don't should on yourself. Letting go of this, I should do that. I should be this. I should do that thing with that friend. I should. And letting go of those shoulds so that you can live in that freedom that Jesus promises to us. Because he doesn't want us to live in shame and comparison. He wants us to live in complete freedom in him.
So good, Abby. Yeah, I feel like you're like describing the highs and lows of my pandemic experience, right? Of like what I go through, maybe on a daily basis, an hourly basis, whatever. But just at this time, it's just been so hard, and there's been so much grief. There's a new commercial that is a Google commercial. I don't know if you've seen it, but it's supposed to be like this hopeful commercial because it like says all the things that people like were Googling during the pandemic, and it's all like the things you can't do, and then it's like erasing them. Like one of them that stood out to me was it was like online church, and then it erases online, and it's like in-person church or whatever, and I'm like, it actually makes me really sad because it's the reality of like, oh my goodness, these are all the things that we have this last year that have been taken from us, or that we've not been able to do, that give us life, right? And so I think that is a big reason why we as moms, it's been so hard. I know you and Abby, you and I have talked about this, of like why it's been so hard, because like the things that we've needed, that we, being a mom is hard, just being a mom, but the things that we normally can reach out and see friends and go to church and be encouraged, like all those things have been taken from us. And so we have to we have to handle the screen, and like this is actually, I feel very grateful, that I can like see your face, and I feel grateful for that. But it is so hard. And so then there's so much grief in this time. And none of us are coming, especially myself, none of us are operating out of like good places, right? Like we're all having a hard time. And so I feel like this woman that this entire time I've tried so many different things. I'm not sure if anyone can relate, but spending money on uncomfy clothes. Like I bought fancy PJs. Who does that, during this pandemic? Like, or going and like, it's like supermarket sweep at Trader Joe's or Target, like, trying to like grab everything that I can, because it's like, I don't know when I'll be here again, or all the Target pickups. I mean, I'm thankful for the Target pickups, but these are all things like I'm trying to like escape and trying to make things feel like they're normal or feel like things are real, trying to be free when I'm not free. I'm feeling very unfree. I've watched a lot of TV. I may or may not have rewatched The Office and Schitt's Creek 2 times, but it's fine. Everything's fine, I mean, I just have been like doing anything I can, to find laughter and to escape the hard things, just like you're talking about going on, the new situation that is happening with all the young girls in the convention center, like that was like breaking my heart. And it's like, I feel like I like will enter into that, and then it's like, okay, I gotta go watch something funny, because I can't take it all. Like it's too much. Or I'll try to control things like by cleaning everything in sight. Or, then I'm trying to be the fun mom and do Pinterest things, like, let me just be real. Some of you, that is you, and I love you for that. And I need you to do that with my kids. That is not me. I am not a craft lady. That's why it's like hard during this pandemic. I need to send my kids to your house to have you do the crafts with them, because that's not me. I do other things, but that's not me. So I'm like trying to do that and not operating out of who I really am. And then I like get mad and I'm like yelling at my kids and becoming like the opposite of the fun mom that I was trying to be. I think I've just tried to do everything during this pandemic, and I feel like it just felt like at times like I'm treading water and I'm finally doing okay, and then one more thing happens and it just pushes me under, and it's like I can't, one more loss or one more comment from someone who doesn't get it, or I had someone early on tag me when I was pregnant in the 10 push-up challenge early on. If anybody remember that? I like lost it. I lost it. Like, it's just because you just want to be seen. You just want to say, like, don't you understand all that I'm holding? Don't you get how hard this is? Like, don't you know, don't you see me? And I feel like I'm that lady. Like, it's like, Jesus, don't you see me? I've longed for so long to be seen and set free. And I love this story because Jesus does see this woman. Like, he really sees her when no one else does. No one else, she's like, I picture her like hiding down, like just trying to like reach her little hand out, to touch his robe, and he sees her. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's just so good. And I realized, obviously, in that I have realized all along the way of the hard work that I have to do, and letting go of unrealistic expectations, or having to find ways to find freedom in God and to come back to who he's made me to be, and let that be okay. To come back to his kindness, Jesus' kindness, just like in this story, has changed me personally, of realizing that I can accept Jesus' kindness, and then that flows through me. Funny story, I was talking to my spiritual director. Abby and I have the same spiritual director. If you're wondering about that, we can share about that a little later, what a spiritual director is. But they just kind of help you listen to God and listen to like what God might be saying. And they say these like really amazing one lines of wisdom that you're like, okay, I'm gonna have to sit on that for a good month. That's fine, thanks. But she asked me one of the last times I met with her, like what I needed prayer for, and I told her I needed prayer to be more patient. It had been a really hard few weeks with my kids. And her response was, I will not pray for you to be more patient. And I'm like, what? She says these things and you're like, what? Okay. I will not pray for you to be more patient. And to be patient and be more fun with my kids. She said, I will not pray for you to be more patient or to help you to be more fun, but I will pray that you will accept Jesus' kindness towards you, and he'll help you to be more kind to yourself. Because once you accept that kindness, it'll freely flow from you to your kids. That is my prayer. That's what she said to me. And I was like, yeah.
Right. We can't give what we don't have. We can't give what we don't have. Yeah.
Right. that's it, right? So I'll pray that you would accept Jesus' kindness towards you, and he'll help you to be kind to yourself. So I'm praying that for you today, mom, mama, as I see you. Because once you accept that kindness, that love, that peace, that goodness, it will freely flow from you. And so, or you accept that freedom that Jesus gives. If I can receive that, isn't that beautiful? I can give that freedom to my kids. I don't have to try. It doesn't have to be so hard. And it sounds so counterproductive. It's easier to just be like, I'm going to love better today, right? But I have to accept that love for myself. Ooh, that's harder. That can be a lot harder. Yeah. So Abby, I think you and I just have been talking about this of like accepting that love, accepting those things for ourselves. So just some questions maybe to think about, to journal, or just so you could even take one each day, write in your notes in your phone. What is ever easiest? Maybe there's just one that stands out to you and you want to think about it. You just take that with you. But what are ways during my week that I'm being kind to myself? So think about that. What's a way during my week that I'm being kind to myself? Where are the places that I want Jesus to free me? Where do I want to be free? If that's a harder question, I'm like, where do I not feel free right now? Sometimes that's a helpful question that can like lead you to like, Jesus, this is where I want to be free. Maybe another question might be, oh, Jesus, I would give anything if you would heal this or if you would change this. I would push past the crowds and I'd reach my hand for a chance to touch your robe for you to heal this. And then what is that saying about the real longings of your heart today? And then what are the aspects of your mothering would you say you want prayer for? What are aspects of your mothering or my mothering that I would want prayer for? What would you ask your spiritual director prayer for? And what does that really say what you're needing from Jesus? So I was asking to be kind to my kids and to be fun. Well, actually, the reality is like, I need that kindness from Jesus. I need Jesus's fun spirit because I don't feel very fun these days. Like, I need that, So what are the ways during my week that I'm being kind to myself? Where are the places that I want Jesus to free me? Or what aspects of my life don't feel free right now? What do I want Jesus to heal or change? What would I reach out for? What would I reach past the crowds to just get a chance to touch Jesus' robe? And what aspects of my mothering would I want? Would I say I want prayer for? And what does that say about what I'm needing from Jesus? Those are just some questions to think about. If there's one of those that sticks out to you, take it. So just some questions to think about as we're looking in Jesus' freedom.
Yeah. I love that question, Kate. It's like, what are you wanting prayer for in terms of being a mom? But actually it reveals like what you need to receive. I love that perspective shift. Another exercise that we love, that if those questions are too hard to answer right now, a really easy check-in that Kate and I have practiced. We've done this with our staff team. It's been around for a while. It's also known as the fans exercise. It's just a quick
we're fans of it. We're fans of it. Just kidding. I know. Sorry, I had to. You're welcome for that.
That's awesome. It is a quick little acronym that will just help you answer some questions in a really simple, quick, easy way. It's just another way to kind of check in and see how you're doing. So F stands for feeling. How are you feeling today? A is affirmation. What can you affirm about today? So are you looking forward to something? Is something exciting happening? Are you going to do a Target drive up? Great. What can you affirm about today? And what are you needing? It can be really simple, tangible things like I need a good meal for lunch, or I need to just sit down for 5 minutes uninterrupted. What are you needing? Just list that out. And then S, what do you need to surrender? So is there anything that you're kind of holding on to or that you're really wanting to see happen? What do you need to surrender into the loving Trinity and know that God sees that and he's holding that with you? So My fans for today. Oh boy, Kate, I don't even know. My
I know.
4-year-old broke her foot over the weekend, so that's been really fun. My 9-month-old's teething, so you know how fun that is. I'm wearing glasses because I have a scratch in my left eye and I can't see out of it. So,
This
you
is
know,
real life.
this is real
This is real
life.
life.
Yeah, it's great. It's great. So, my fans, what am I feeling? I'm feeling a little bit tired, a lot of bit tired. I think there's just that level of like, can I just catch a break for a moment, just a
Yeah.
little moment, just one moment?
Yep.
That would be wonderful. What can I affirm about today? This conversation. I've been looking forward to time with Kate, time with all of you moms, all day long, so I can definitely affirm that. What am I needing? Hmm, that one's always hard for me because I'm always thinking about what everybody else needs, right? What do my
Yeah.
children need? What does my husband
Good.
need? What about my family, my friends? So it's so hard for me. Uh, what am I needing? I think it's the end of the night. So I think what I need is just a moment to sit in silence and
Mm.
not talk to
Mm.
anyone or be talked at, right? That would be
Good.
lovely.
Nice.
And then what do I need to surrender? I'm just surrendering my daughter's foot because, when you see a child in pain, it is so hard. And I have a lot of mom guilt that I wasn't around when it happened. And so
Mm.
I need to surrender that and trust that God will heal her foot and everything's going to be okay. How about you,
That,
Kate?
that is good. That is good. How am I feeling today? I am feeling spent. I'm feeling spent.
Are you tired as a mother?
Tired as a mother, Abby. That's how I'm feeling. I'm feeling spent. Um, yeah, yeah. What can I affirm about today? Uh, I think that I loved a friend well today. So I'll say that. I think I loved a friend well today. I can affirm that about myself. And what am I needing? I think I need to move my body. I think that is like I was like sitting here and I'm like, oh, my body. I think I need to like not. I'm not talking about like getting crazy exercise, but like I just feel like my body needs a little love and care. It's a little tight. Like even a walk would be nice. And what do I need to surrender? I need to surrender this laundry. It's bothering me, but I need to surrender that. It's really silly, but no, but that bigger than that, I need to surrender all the like checks. I often have that list running. So yeah, I also love abs, and you have taught me this is like how to turn those fans into a prayer. So just like even taking those quick things and then turning that into a prayer, you show me this, and I think it's really helpful. And it's just quickly like, help me, Lord, to see my own needs and be sensitive to what I'm feeling and needing today. Jesus, today I feel tired. I know that you want to affirm that I was a good friend today. Father, I need some movement from you today. And Lord Jesus, I surrender and give you my to-do list today. And it's literally as simple as that. And it just can be like so freeing and so good. It's also good because we are often, as Abby said, looking to see how everybody else is doing. It is good to take a moment to sit and take assessment. Sometimes it can be deep and sometimes it's not. It's like the laundry, but sometimes it's like I need to surrender, my daughter's foot that is broken that I'm very worried about.
Mhm.
Um, so yeah, it's good.
Yeah. Yeah. And I like just having a friend to do that with, or your significant other, or a journal. I mean, just having someone to check in with. Years ago, a long, long, long time ago, my group and I did that every day. So someone would just kick it off. It didn't have to be the same person, but someone would just kick it off with their fans. And then, the group chat would just keep rolling and everyone would share their fans every day. And it was such a great way to know, like, this is how my friend is really doing. And now I know how I
Mm.
can be praying for her and I can check in with her about these things. And this is how I'm really doing too, which is really healthy and a really great way to stay in touch. So we do want to name a disclaimer. I'm sure there are some moms out there that might be thinking, I don't have time for another thing. especially like a spiritual practice or, another
Nobody does.
thing on my to-do list. So we totally get that. And why we love the fans exercise so much is that not only is it really simple, but you can do it while you're doing something else. So doing dishes, doing laundry. You can come fold my laundry if you'd like and do the fans
Yeah.
exercise, and do fold Kate's laundry. We're not trying to add more to your
No.
already very full plate. So please hear us in that we just wanted to offer up a really simple exercise that has been helpful to us. And we hope that it can help you check in with yourself and check in with God.
Yeah. In the shower. That's actually one of my best thinking places. And because no one's in there, everybody has to be quiet. Okay. Maybe if you shut the door. Yes. Okay. So our second theme for tonight is support. So what do we as moms need? We need freedom. We need support. We need each other, right? We need to be seen. There's nothing worse than feeling like we have been overlooked or that no one gets what we're going through. And I think as moms, a lot of us are feeling that these days, whether we are working at home with our kids or whether we are working outside of the home or in our home, outside of the home, online. Like whatever we're doing, we're doing a lot. And when it feels like we haven't been seen or someone people aren't understanding, maybe men aren't understanding the things that are going on in our life, or people can't enter into the mess with you, it can feel really lonely. The thing about that is that we have to let people into the mess of our lives, right? So part of the healing for this woman, I was going to call her the bleeding lady, but I hate that. It's like, she needs why does she not have a name? She needs a name. But yeah, this blessed bleeding lady, that Jesus not only healed her through her faith, or it was not only that Jesus healed her through her faith and touching his robe, but he also saw her. It was not only the healing that he gave her, but he saw her. He looked for her. He turned around to see where did that go? Who was that? And he made sure to find her. The disciples were like, come on, it's nobody, and he's like, no, I'm going to find who this was. He knew it was important to see her. And that was a part of her healing too. There may be some reading in between the lines there, but I just feel like Jesus is the ultimate healer and he heals completely. He gives full restoration. And that is the full restoration he was giving her. He gave her back her humanity, right? He knew all that she had gone through and all her pain and agony, and he wanted to see her in this moment, even when everybody else thought she was insignificant or just another part of the pushy crowd. But he called her out. She had to come forward and she had to be vulnerable. It says she shared her whole story. She had to be vulnerable. And I just think it's really beautiful. Jesus is willing to heal us, but we have to be willing to be vulnerable. And so the question is tonight, how are you making yourself available to be seen? This can be hard, but how are you doing that? If you're feeling alone tonight, how are you seeking out others? It is very easy during this pandemic to hole in and I want to say turtle in, just be like turtles, in our shell. But how are you making sure you're connecting? Abby and I felt like the Lord gave us a real life example that we needed to share here. There was one day Abby and I had a text chain, and it was one of those days where I was just having a really horrible day. And I was just like, Abby, this is the reality. I sent her a photo. I'm sitting, I think hopefully we can share that photo, but I'm sitting on a beanbag. I have not showered in days. I'm holding a baby. I'm sitting on a beanbag chair. Why? I don't know, but I am. And I'm surrounded. Again, why is laundry such a thing? But clearly that's my life. There's laundry everywhere. I'm holding a baby, sitting on a beanbag chair, trying to find a snack off the floor. What is my life? It's just those moments where you're and then Abby sent me a photo back, and she too was surrounded by laundry, which I appreciated, and she had not showered either. And it was just these real life moments where it's do you have somebody that you can share those real life moments? And, just her saying I see you, you're doing it. It's okay. You don't have to be perfect. And that just meant the world to me. So do you have those people that you can be honest with? And if you don't, is there a way that you can open up to someone that could maybe be a person that you could share those things with? Is there someone the Lord's bringing to mind? Someone that you could share some cuss words with, because sometimes you just need a good cuss word, to get it out so you don't cuss at your children. Maybe that's just me. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, how are you doing that? Are you seeking out maybe do you need to see a spiritual director? That has been so helpful to me to do that. But what are the things that you're doing to reach out when it feels like the world, the pandemic, all of that is closing in? I know things are opening up, but it's like even trickier now because you don't, everybody has different comfort levels. We don't know exactly how this is going to go. You open up a little bit, then you get fearful. Like it's just such a wild time. So what are those things that you're doing? Recently, I even I did a breakfast picnic in a park with two friends, and I cannot believe you. I literally had energy for 2 days from that, and I was like, oh, clearly we need to connect with people. We weren't meant for this.
Mhm.
So what can you do for those kind of things to get the support that you might need?
Mhm. Yeah, those are such great examples. And it's so true that we really are not meant to do this alone. And it's incredible what human connection can do for us, right? That's how we were designed. So um, I was laughing the other day because I read something about how moms are posting on social media about like self-care, taking a shower, self-care, eating a warm meal. And it's like, well, actually, those are very basic needs. And most people just get that, right? It's not really self-care, but for us as moms, especially when you're in the thick of it, it really feels like self-care. Like most mornings, my coffee is cold, my food is cold because I'm getting everybody else fed. And, you know, and also to say I have a wonderful partner. He is a wonderful, 50-50 partner. So, and even still, you can be underwater when you have like some support. So, what can you do to actually get self-care and to get support and to give you those days of energy like Kate got from that breakfast picnic, Um, so one thing I was telling Kate the other day is I know I'm not doing well when I'm just completely isolated. And I don't know
Mm,
if any of you moms can relate to this, but a huge red flag for me is when I haven't reached out to anybody in a couple of
mm,
days, because normally that is my personality type. And when I am not reaching out because I don't have the energy to, that's a huge red flag. Like, uh-oh,
good.
what's going on that I don't even have the energy to say hi and
Yes,
check in with someone,
yes,
right?
yep.
So I don't know if anyone else can relate to that, but that is definitely something I've noticed, especially in this pandemic time, in this postpartum time. Like if I'm too tired to chat with a friend, there's a lot, there's a lot going on down there.
Mm,
And it's usually rooted in I'm alone, I feel lonely. Does anybody see me? Does anybody understand? Does anybody care? Right. So, our spiritual director, she talks about our capacity levels as like a gas tank. So, when you're in the green, like when you're full, you're doing really well, you're receiving God's kindness, everything is just overflowing. You do not need prayers for kindness towards your children because it is just like naturally overflowing. And then when you're kind of in that mid range yellow, it's like, uh-oh, like what do I need to do before I get into that red level? So this is like warning, you're about halfway there. What do you need to do to kind of refuel? Like what are ways to get support? What are ways to get some self-care to get you from dipping a little bit lower? And then red is like you're on empty, danger zone. You need to stop everything. Forget the dishes, forget the laundry, forget the
mm,
to-dos, forget it all. And what do you need to do to take care of yourself? Because as we mentioned earlier, you can't give what you don't have. So if you're on empty, you're not doing anybody any favors, especially not yourself. So um, it's really important to kind of pay attention to yourself. And some other ways that I have found helpful in getting support is Marco Polo. That's a free app. It's just a really great way to send video messages to friends. That's how I stay in touch with my dearest friend out in Chicago and my other good friend up in NorCal. That sometimes, especially if you have young children, it's really hard to schedule a FaceTime.
yeah.
And so Marco Polo is so great because you can do it while you're doing something else, and you can watch it when you have a moment, and you can respond when you have a moment. And it's just a really great way to stay in touch. Um, and also, it's a both and. It's also really great to have like the natural rapport of a conversation. where you have that back and forth where that person can hear your tone and see you and respond in real time. So there is a benefit to making sure you're having that like live conversation
Yeah.
as well. And if you
Yeah.
can do like in person, socially distance, if you're both vaccinated, great. You know, if you can do that safely, like please do that, because as Kate mentioned, even just a moment can do a whole lot for your soul to connect with a friend. um, and if you want to join me, YouTube has great dance exercises. You know, you don't have to be perfect, nobody's watching you, you're at home by yourself, you just let loose and have fun and just move your body and laugh at yourself, and it kind of brings levity and joy, and it's a lot of fun. So if you need some like recommendations for that, I got you.
I
um
love that you've been dancing, Abby. I love that. I love
it's
that. Abby does dance. She's not home by herself, let me be clear, but she is shutting the door. She is shutting the door, or she's having her child do it with her. Those
yes,
things
or
are older kids. I'm
yeah,
sure they'll be so embarrassed. It's kind of fun to embarrass your older kids, right? Like, yeah,
it's
do it. Who
super
cares?
fun. There's so much wonderful content out there, and even more so now that we've been in this pandemic for so long. Kids
Yeah,
yoga,
yeah.
if you haven't done kids yoga, it's so great. They have like Frozen themed Moana. I mean,
I know. It's
there's
crazy.
great stuff out there. So moving your body, yeah. What can you do for self-care? What can you do for support?
Yeah, that's good. I just want to say, I want to give you the reason, part of the reason Abby and I are saying this, you guys might already know all this and, you're already doing all these things, which, because I'm sure you guys are awesome, but just reminders, maybe even of things maybe you haven't been doing, just to give you permission. Like, again, just want to say, sometimes we as moms, we just need permission. And so we just want to give you permission to take care of yourself, permission to reach out and get support when you need it, permission to take a moment and sit in the bathroom for longer than you actually are need to be in there, because you just need a second. When you pull up the car into the driveway, you just sit there a little extra longer because you're going to do a quick Marco Polo to a friend or watch your Marco Polos. Like, just giving you permission to do those things, to take care of yourself. One thing I have really learned about in this pandemic is moving my body, how important that is. It's funny, I think I used to work out when I was younger because I was trying to look a certain way, and now it's just, as I've gotten older, to make sure the body's still working, make sure we're moving around. Abby actually got me, or she actually got me, very kind because she's a generous lady, got me into a book, bought me a book called Burnout, and it's by the Nagoski twins. And it talks about women. It's a book specifically for women, and it talks about how much stress we hold on to in our bodies, and that we have to move our bodies to complete the stress cycle. So the stress may be gone, but the stress is still in our bodies. It's a very, very simple way of explaining it. They explain it much better. But it's really true if you start paying attention. Again, we quote our spiritual director a lot because she's amazing, but she says your body keeps score. And it's true. Your body knows the trauma or the grief or the pain or the stress that you've been going through, and we have to get that out of our bodies. And so for me, that has actually been a new spiritual practice that I've been leaning into, has been walking or doing yoga. One day I had one of the most stressful things happen at work for me, and I literally was like, I think I need to go after reading that book, I was like, I think I need to go for a run. Like, I could feel the stress in my body, and I don't remember the last time I ran. And I went for like a 10-minute run because until I could feel it like come out of my body. Um, yeah. So, and one day I did yoga instead of the dishes, and I felt like I had just won a gold medal. Like, I felt like I needed a crowd. Like, I was like, yes, I just did that for myself. And I
Let me give you
literally
one of
felt like I
those.
wanted to tell everybody, like,
There you go.
yes, yes, thank you, Abby. Like, I was like, thank you. Thank you. I did something for myself. That's how I felt. Yeah. So that has been super helpful. Another thing, this is maybe a little bit different than like reaching out, but support wise for me has been really helpful, as I've been doing the Praise You Go app. That has been really helpful for support of like my spiritual life. And connecting with God. And I've been doing it while I blow dry my hair. You just put the things in and you blow dry your hair. Now, maybe that doesn't happen every day, but you can, it just is like really, it feels like some real self-care. It feels like really taking care of yourself and finding the support you need, to connect with God, to connect with others, those kind of things.
Yeah. Yeah. So what can you do to get some support this week, this month? It doesn't have to happen tonight or tomorrow. But we want to encourage you to make that a priority for yourself. So write some ideas down. We have some ideas. You don't have to do any of them, but these are just some ideas that we know that we've benefited from and friends of ours have benefited from. So, do you need to go outside for a walk? Do you need to walk around Target without children? Do you need to set up a phone call with a dear friend, start counseling, start spiritual direction? Do you need to go and have a picnic and have a meal by yourself or go safely to a restaurant and eat by yourself? Do you need to do something to move your body? Um, there's a free app called the Down Dog Yoga app that I know Kate loves, and Grace
It's
is actually
good.
the
It's
one
good.
that told us about it, and it's awesome. You can do it for 5 minutes. It's wonderful. You
Yes,
can set
you
the
can.
time, you can set your
Mhm.
level. Yeah, it's great. Do you need to set up a
Okay.
picnic with friends? Do you need to go to the beach and look at the sunset? Do you need to go for a run? Do you need to put together like a really fancy charcuterie board for
Yes.
yourself?
Yes, you do.
Do you need time in nature or to create something? Or do you need to go garden in your backyard or front yard? Do you need to read a book that you haven't gotten around to? These are just some ideas, but the biggest thing is what are you drawn to that would make it feel like, oh, this is expansive. Like I can breathe a little bit, and this is just for me, a little moment for myself, because that's just so important to be able to stay afloat during this time.
Yes. Yeah. And one thing I want to say about the creating something, I think that one is a really important one. I'm not like the biggest creative, but a really good friend of mine who's very brilliant. I was actually working on a house project. That's actually really fun to me. That's my creative side. I don't draw or paint or anything like that. But Abby's a beautiful like artist of sorts, but not me. But I was saying that I was telling her I've been in a pretty heavy season of grief. Uh, of loss of my sister-in-law and best friend. We lost her last August, and so I was trying to work on this house project. So normally I would call her and she and I would talk about it, and it's been really hard. And so I texted my friend and I said, I was asking her opinion on what I should do because I needed help, and I just said I felt a little lost as I don't feel like I have vision like I normally do. Like I can't figure out how I want this. Like normally I'd be able to figure it out. And she said, I'm just going to read it. She said, grief steals our vision, but this project will help you. You're doing it. And that was like one of the biggest moments of support for me of just
Mm.
like, I mean, I started like tears, tears, tears. Like grief steals our vision. And we've been a huge season of grief. And so if you're feeling that, if you feel like your vision has been taken and you don't know exactly where to go or what to do, or you feel like you start creating something, it's not great, like just do it. Like you're doing it. You got to do it. So whether that's gardening and getting your hands in the soil or whatever that is, like do it. Find that support that can help you return to yourself, return to Jesus, all of those things. I want to encourage you in that. So
Mhm.
yeah, what are you drawn to? I love that ad.
Yeah.
Um, and one last piece of support that I just would love, something I was also thinking about that I would love to encourage, and it kind of feels maybe like a little bit more of a pushing and outward if you feel like, um, maybe thinking of a little bit further, is what would it look like to support a mom who is different than you? Right? We have been in this time where I feel like it is very easy to find people. I think our world is really encouraging us to go in our corners and to not find people, to find people that are similar to us, and like we've been pushed farther and farther and farther away. And when we come out of this, it's gonna be a little bit wild where it's like everybody's been pushed in these different corners. So as we come out of this, what does it look like for us as women who love Jesus and know Jesus to come into this messy middle and reach out to somebody who might be a little bit different than me, or um, who might think differently than me, who might respond differently in the pandemic, who might think differently about um, yeah, about a lot of things. But what does it look like to like reach out maybe and connect with somebody who thinks differently, but that still needs support? What does that look like? Um, and how does it, what would it look like for you to reach out to somebody? Maybe not, maybe that's too much, but what does it look like to you for you to reach out to somebody at Flood who you don't know that well, but who you're just sensing the Lord's like bringing to mind? Like, I think that person needs support. Because what would it look like if the world saw how, as we come out of this, women women in our church supporting and lifting each other up, um, and not putting each other down for different ideas or different ways of thinking, but that we are women that are loving each other. Like what would the world say about that? I just feel like that is what Jesus would want us to do, to as somebody's like reaching out their hands, just like that woman did to Jesus. Like, what does it look like for us to turn and be a person of healing towards them? So I know that's a little challenge. And you take it to the Lord of where that might be, but you take it to the Lord. You take it to the Lord.
You take it to the Lord.
Take it to the Lord. I'm not. You do what
No.
you do what the Lord says. You
Yeah. It's convicting. Like that's a good challenge, and it's a lot to think about for sure. So, thank you for that, Kate. The last theme we wanted to talk about is Kate and I, as we were planning all this, we're just like, you know what? We just need some good old encouragement, right?
Yes.
Who doesn't like to be encouraged?
Yes, because you are doing it. You're doing it.
Mm-hmm.
You're awesome. I'm looking at you, Mom. Yes, you. Yep, you. And you, Abby. You're gorgeous. You're doing it.
We're all doing it, right?
We are.
We're doing it. So, we read in Matthew 26, verse 36 to 46. This is when Jesus goes into the Garden of Gethsemane to pray. And we see Jesus as fully needy. He's needy, fully, I almost said that kind of funny, fully needy. Said it like a British accent almost, but he's fully needy. He's fully exhausted. He's fully depleted. And while he was not a mom, he was a human being. And so he knows, he knows what it feels like to kind of be put into this pit of sorrow, to feel alone, to feel forgotten. I mean, the disciples literally couldn't stay awake, and it's like the one thing he asked them to do. So, it's like, come on. It's like when you have a new baby and you're asking your like partner to stay awake with you so that you can feed them in the middle of the night, and like they're snoring. Yeah. And you're like, cool.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Does anybody know? Just me? No? Okay.
We wake up, it's like, oh, the baby slept last night.
Oh, did they?
Did they?
Oh, yeah. Oh,
that's good.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, where were we? So we just want to end our night together with some encouragement that we see you. We know that you're holding a lot. We know that. We know you're holding a lot. And of course you're tired. Of course you're tired as a mother, because it's a lot. No one's done this. No one has done this in a very long time. It's like
100 years.
In our lifetime has really done this. And so we're just trying to navigate it day by day. So of course you're tired. Of course you're feeling done. Of course you want to scream and shout, because some days it's just too much. And we're here to say that we see you, we get it, and you are not alone, my friend. Not only do we see you, but Jesus sees you, just as he saw that woman in that large crowd. And on those days that you do feel alone, we ask that you would please reach out. Please reach out. One thing that is a silver lining in this pandemic, there are lots of little silver linings, but one is that we do have technology to keep us connected, so please reach out if you're feeling like you're at the end of your rope. As Kate mentioned, Flood has some incredible women in our community who could all use a fellow mom to talk to. Who wouldn't like to talk to another mom about your life, right? We can all relate. And if you need more than that, there's counseling scholarships available. There are wonderful spiritual directors and counselors that we can connect you to. Because as we said in the beginning, we are not meant to do this alone. And so please reach out, know that you are not alone, and that there's a huge network of women at Flood that are ready and available to be here.
Yeah. Yes. And in the vein of not being alone, we're going to do a quick breath prayer. And I say quick, I probably shouldn't say quick, but we're going to do a quick breath prayer. You can do it slower later. But just to remind you that you are not alone. And so basically I just want to teach you this simple breath prayer that is you're going to breathe in, I am seen, and then you breathe out, I am not alone. You're going to breathe in and you're going to say, Jesus sees me. Going to breathe out, I am not alone. And then the third one, you're going to breathe in and say, a friend sees me. If you're having trouble thinking of a friend's name that sees you, you can say Kate sees me, or you can choose Abby. I'd probably choose Abby. Abby sees me, I am not alone. And so we're just going to do that. We're just going to just walk you through that. So go ahead and just kind of get comfy in your chair or your bed, wherever you may be. And you're going to breathe in, I am seen. Breathe out, I am not alone. Breathe in, Jesus sees me. Breathe out, I am not alone. Breathe in, Abby sees me. Breathe out, I am not alone. And that is just a breath prayer. Just amen. That is just a prayer to remind us, to ground us to our breath, that God is one who gives us breath, and just to ground us back into truth, right? And so that is just something easy to do. You don't have to say it out loud. You can just do it in your head. You can do it wherever you are. Sometimes it may just be important for you to stop and take 3 deep breaths, and you can just do that. I am seen, I am not alone. Jesus sees me, I'm not alone. And a friend sees me, I am not alone. Just that reminder in this time. It's just not easy. And there's just like these last kind of random pieces of encouragement I just wanted to leave with you. These are things that like have just spoken to me lately. I feel like I've kind of just been like cultivating these random things, but I wanted to read you this. It's in I was doing some devotions with my kids. It's in the kids Bible. Well, it's not a Bible. Thoughts to Make Your Heart Sing, kids devotional. And it is called Winter. It says, I thought this was really appropriate because I think we've been in a winter. It says, in the winter, it looks like the trees have all died. Their leaves wither and drop off. They stand like skeletons alone against the cold, desolate sky. But did you know before even a single leaf falls to the ground, next spring's bud is ready? Next summer's leaf is furled inside that tiny bud waiting. And Jesus says there is nothing broken that won't be mended, nothing sick that won't be healed, nothing dead that won't live again, because God is making everything sad come untrue. We can't see it now, but remember the fruit tree in winter? It looks dead, but the buds are ready to go, and come spring, blossom and fruit. I just love that. Mm-hmm. There's a lot that has felt dead inside of me. Mm-hmm. Abby, one time you said a dead leaf described you.
Yes.
During this pandemic. We had to say there was an object that described us. Abby, sorry if I shared that on your behalf, but I think you were like, this dead leaf describes me. But like, we felt so dead, right? Yeah. And Jesus says there's nothing broken that won't be mended, nothing sick that won't be healed, nothing dead that won't live again, because God is making everything sad come untrue. Mm-hmm. They can say it for the kids. We can, sometimes it's like the best thing for us, you know? Mm-hmm. So just know in this time in winter that Jesus is go in peace and he's making everything sad come untrue. Mm-hmm. And we just have to believe that hope. So any last thoughts, Abster?
Oh man, I'm just sitting with that. It's so good. And that you brought up that memory of me showing the staff that I felt like a dead leaf. And that is true. And maybe tonight.
You did.
Yeah, it was.
You were honest. It was honest.
It was very true and very real. And, you know, if that's a mom tonight that feels like that, oh man, I see you and would love to talk to you and encourage you that is not forever. If you look around now, spring is coming and new flowers
in your house.
New life. Some daffodils.
In your house. Spring is coming. It's good. It's good.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm going to pray us out, and then I think we have some last bit of announcements that we'll do. Then we're going to meet in the Zoom room.
Zoom
So happy.
room.
We're going to actually see each other. We're going to get to see each other. Okay. So this is a prayer from Reverend Sarah R. And this actually came from our Lenten devotionals that Scott Wiley put together, and he put these prayers from this woman, and they are beautiful. So this prayer stood out to me. I just want to pray this over us, because in this time it has been not easy. If you felt like you're in a winter, if you felt like you're waiting, we are with you. We are together in it, and we just see you. We see you, Mama. So I'm going to pray this over us. Holy God, we are waiting for the sun to rise. We are waiting for the day with no more pain. We are waiting for peace and joy like a river. So as we wait, give us the will to move our feet. We will watch for morning. We will watch for morning. Amen.
Amen.
Thank you, ladies, for being with us.
Yes.
Hopefully you felt a little bit of freedom, a little bit of support, and a little bit of encouragement.
Yeah, we know it takes a lot to do anything, right? These days, it takes a lot to do anything.
Preach.
So thank you for choosing to do this thing with us tonight. And we hope that you will join us in the Zoom room. We'll spend some time in small groups, and we'll have some space to write out some prayers that you can kind of take with you from tonight. Our after party Zoom link is diveintoflood.com/Zoom. It's that simple. And then just a quick invite. We wanted to plug this really quick, that there's a women's reflective retreat coming up on Saturday, May 22nd. There are options to do it in person safely at Mission Bay or at home, where you'll get your retreat information emailed to you if you choose the at-home option. And the facilitator will be none other than the amazing Lindsay Wildy. So
she's the greatest.
She is the greatest. So please RSVP at diveintoflood.com/women.
I give you permission to go. I give you permission to leave your children with someone and go. Okay, you're welcome. There's your permission.
Yeah, we also have amazing moms groups that you can join, or you can start one, host, co-lead. All of those resources are down below. I've always wanted to do that.
I know you've always wanted to say it. Me too.
On the resource link that's in the video description. So hopefully we will see you in the Zoom rooms. We'd love to see you there. Please join us. We'll see you soon.
Yay. Bye.
Bye.